The lights are up, the cameras are rolling, and the tension, you could cut it with a diamond. The crowd on the Kelly Clarkson Show buzzed with anticipation as the signature theme echoed through the set. It was supposed to be another bright, empowering day on television. But today, that energy carried an edge. Kelly Clarkson stood at center stage, dressed in a sleek navy blue outfit that radiated quiet power. She smiled politely, but her eyes carried a flicker of something else: awareness. The guest she was about to face wasn't just any celebrity. She was a royal, a disruptor, and depending on who you asked, either a feminist icon or a drama magnet. Today, Kelly announced, we're welcoming someone who has sparked global conversations about womanhood, royalty, and reinvention. Please welcome Meghan Markle. A smattering of applause erupted. Not the usual roar. Meghan walked on with her signature smirk, a tailored beige dress hugging her frame, her chin tilted just a bit too high. She didn't wave. She didn't smile. She just walked. Kelly extended a hand. Meghan took it half-heartedly. Thanks for joining us, Kelly said with grace. Of course, Meghan replied curtly, taking her seat. I love shedding light on difficult truths. The crowd exchanged glances. Kelly nodded, masking her own hesitation. Let's dive in, Kelly began. Your recent interview series stirred quite a bit of attention. Some praised your vulnerability. Others felt it was another attack. Meghan raised a brow. So we're doing that already? Doing what? Kelly asked calmly. Critique disguised as curiosity, Meghan said. But that's what women do to each other, right? Especially the successful ones. Kelly blinked, but stayed poised. I ask because millions of women look up to you. That comes with responsibility. Meghan leaned forward, her tone sharpening. Responsibility or expectation? Because let me tell you, Kelly, the world expects me to be grateful for a crown I never asked for. But you embraced it, Kelly countered gently, and you used it. Meghan's lips curled slightly. Used it? No, I reclaimed it. There's a difference. There it was, that Meghan, always redefining the narrative. Kelly smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. So when you criticized the monarchy publicly, was that reclamation too, or just retribution? The studio collectively inhaled. Meghan's eyes flared. This is what I expected, she said, thinly veiled judgment disguised as journalism. This isn't journalism, Kelly replied smoothly. This is a conversation. One I hoped would empower viewers. Meghan chuckled darkly. Empowerment doesn't come from women policing each other on couches. Kelly sat straighter. No, it comes from accountability. Silence. A long, sharp silence. Then Meghan leaned back. Well, then I hope you're ready to be held accountable too, Kelly. Kelly's eyes narrowed, but she didn't respond. She simply turned to the audience with that composed, graceful strength that had carried her through every battle before. And we're just getting started, folks. The air was thick with tension. The show's opening glamour had all but evaporated. Meghan Markle, still seated with crossed legs and a tight-lipped smile, watched Kelly Clarkson adjust her cue cards. The applause from earlier had faded into an uncertain hush. The studio lights no longer shimmered. They glared. Kelly broke the silence. So, Meghan, you've been very outspoken about, well, a lot of things. Royal life, fame, privacy. What's the one thing you wish people would stop asking you? It was a fair question, measured, neutral. But Meghan leaned in, eyes fixed. I wish they'd stop pretending they care about the answers. A murmur rolled through the audience. Kelly's brow furrowed. Pretending? Meghan nodded. People eat up the drama. They don't want the truth. They want headlines, sound bites, something to judge. Kelly kept her composure, but her voice tightened. I don't think it's fair to paint everyone with the same brush. A lot of people admire you. They relate. No, they consume, Meghan snapped. There's a difference. The temperature in the studio dropped several degrees. Kelly's jaw tightened, but she nodded slowly. Well, Kelly said, folding her hands, if people are listening, that's a start, don't you think? Meghan scoffed. Listening isn't the same as understanding. Or respecting. Kelly's eyes narrowed, barely. You think people don't respect you? Meghan smiled, but it was icy. I think people like you love to act like you get it until it gets uncomfortable. Kelly blinked. People like me? Media people. American sweethearts, Meghan said. You sing about empowerment, but when a woman actually demands respect, it's called diva behavior. A low gasp echoed from the studio audience. Kelly sat up straighter. Demanding respect and disrespecting others are not the same thing. Meghan shrugged. Maybe to you. The room crackled with discomfort. One of the producers was seen gesturing off camera, checking the clock. Kelly inhaled deep and slow. We brought you here to talk, not to fight. But let me be clear. This isn't a tabloid. You're not being hunted here. Meghan laughed, sharp and hollow. I've been hunted since the day I said I do. And people like you helped build the cage. Silence. Kelly's face paled slightly, then hardened. You don't know me. Don't pretend you do. For the first time, Meghan's confident posture wavered, but she recovered quickly. And yet, you feel entitled to ask about my life like it's your business. Kelly's voice dropped an octave. It's a talk show, Meghan. That's how it works. Meghan stood up slowly. Maybe it's time we changed how it works. Kelly stayed seated, her gaze unflinching. Or maybe it's time someone reminded you, respect is a two-way street. The audience erupted in a mix of gasps and applause. The camera lingered on Meghan's face, caught between pride and fury, before fading to commercial. The tension in the studio was now a living, breathing entity. Kelly Clarkson sat tall in her chair, arms gently folded, her expression unreadable. But the flash in her eyes revealed it all. Restraint. Meghan Markle, however, was anything but restrained. She leaned forward again, voice sharp like polished glass slicing the silence. You think it's easy being me, Kelly? Meghan hissed. You think being judged, dissected, and ridiculed daily is some walk in the park? Kelly's gaze didn't falter. I never said it was easy, but not everyone gets to tell their story in Vogue and Netflix specials. The audience murmured, low but growing, like a wave building offshore. Meghan narrowed her eyes. So that's what this is about? You think I'm privileged? Kelly's tone was level, controlled. I think you're out of touch. That hit. Hard. Meghan blinked once, then again, as if absorbing the slap of truth. Then laughter. But it wasn't amused. It was defensive. A mask cracking. You have no idea what I've endured, Meghan said. And you sitting there judging me like the rest of them. I'm not judging you, Kelly replied. I'm calling out behavior. There's a difference with Producers shifted behind the cameras. The floor manager whispered into a headset. Something was veering off course. And quickly. Meghan suddenly pivoted, addressing the audience with a faux smile that didn't reach her eyes. This is what happens, ladies and gentlemen, when you speak your truth. People like Kelly here. Kelly raised a hand. Don't bring them into this. Talk to me, not through me. The interruption was firm, and somehow louder than Meghan's words. Meghan turned back, visibly flustered. I came on this show to be respected, not interrogated. You came on this show, Kelly said, voice rising just slightly, and expected everyone to bow. That's not how respect works. The audience gasped. Meghan's face went stone cold. You're nothing but a daytime diva playing judge, Meghan shot back. Tell me, who made you queen of decency? You did, Kelly snapped. The moment you walked in here thinking you were above all of us. A pause. It echoed across the room. Meghan's nostrils flared. You're lucky we're live. You're lucky. Am I? Kelly's voice had dropped an octave. Or are you lucky someone's finally telling you what the palace didn't? The studio was frozen. No one moved. Even the cameramen had their eyes off the viewfinders. The silence burned. Meghan's lips parted, then closed. No words came. She looked at Kelly, really looked, and saw the one thing she hadn't anticipated. Defiance. Not from a royal aide or a press officer or a social media swarm, but from a woman who had faced her own fires and refused to kneel. Kelly sat back, chest rising slowly, eyes steady. The storm hadn't ended, but the tables had turned. The studio lights dimmed slightly, as if even the set could sense the simmering tension. Meghan Markle shifted in her chair, posture stiff, arms crossed. You know, Kelly, she began, her voice carrying that unmistakable tone of condescension. It's so telling how women like you often tear other women down instead of lifting them up. A ripple of gasps ran through the audience. Kelly Clarkson sat upright, her hands folded on her lap, her gaze steady but piercing. You don't know a damn thing about women like me, Kelly said, her southern lilt taking on a razor-sharp edge. But you sure love to talk like you've got the monopoly on womanhood. The air cracked. Meghan tilted her head, lips curled in mock sympathy. I speak from experience. The British media, the royal family, the public, I've been scrutinized and vilified just for being myself. Kelly's eyebrows lifted, unimpressed. Being yourself doesn't mean steamrolling people and crying victim when they push back. Oh, I see, Meghan snapped, her voice rising. So now I'm the bully? I'm the problem? Kelly leaned forward slightly, her voice low but intense. You're not the problem, Meghan, but you sure are part of it when you use your story to silence others, to manipulate sympathy. That's not empowerment, that's PR. The audience let out a collective oof. Meghan looked toward the producers off camera, her frustration boiling. Is this really the tone we're allowing here? Kelly didn't blink. This isn't the palace. No one's walking on eggshells. Boom! Meghan turned back to her. You're out of your depth, Clarkson. Kelly smirked, but it was the kind of smirk that came before a storm. And you're out of touch, Markle. The host turned slightly toward the audience now, her voice resonating through the studio. Ladies and gentlemen, what you're seeing here is exactly what happens when a narrative gets bigger than the truth. When the brand takes over the person. Meghan's face flushed crimson. You think I'm a brand? I think you're a press release in heels, Kelly replied, deadpan. The crowd erupted, some cheering, others gasping. Cameras zoomed in on Meghan's face, catching the moment her composure cracked, just slightly. You're cruel, Meghan whispered. Kelly shook her head. No, I'm honest. And this audience deserves that much. Meghan stared at her, speechless for the first time since the segment began. A beat of silence. And then Meghan turned toward the producers again, visibly angry. I want a break. Kelly didn't move, didn't flinch. You can walk out, or you can woman up and sit through the rest. Your choice. The screen faded slightly as the tension reached its apex, Meghan frozen between fight and flight, and Kelly standing her ground with unshakable calm. The tension in the studio was now unbearable. Meghan Markle sat rigidly in her seat, arms crossed, her glare fixed on Kelly Clarkson like a queen eyeing a traitor. Kelly, unfazed, adjusted her microphone with a deliberate calmness that only deepened the silence before the storm. You really think I'm here to impress you, Meghan? Kelly asked, her voice steady but steel-edged. Meghan gave a sarcastic laugh. No, darling. I think you're here to play the underdog who finally gets to poke the palace. Is this your moment? Shall I curtsy? Laughter bubbled from a few corners of the audience, but it was nervous and short-lived. The producer's eyes darted toward the control booth, fingers twitching near the commercial cut button. I don't care about the palace, Kelly replied, leaning slightly forward. But I care about people pretending to be victims while living like royalty. That's the insult. Meghan's eyes flared. Excuse me? You heard me, Kelly said, her southern accent slicing clean through the stage lights. You've cried about being silenced, controlled, pushed aside. Meanwhile, you're sitting here lecturing people on empathy with a $10 million deal and a publicist army behind you. There was a stunned silence. Meghan opened her mouth, but nothing came out at first. She blinked rapidly. That's not fair. Kelly didn't blink. What's not fair is when real women, without security, titles, or platforms, get talked over. And then you swoop in, crown half tilted, and make it about you. Meghan shook her head. I came here in good faith. No, Kelly interrupted. You came here to clear your name in public and control the story again. But not everyone buys it anymore. Meghan's jaw clenched. Are you trying to make me cry? Is that your big TV moment? Kelly stood up, slowly, her silhouette towering but composed. If you cry, she said evenly, that's on you. I didn't invite you to this show to break you down. But I also won't lie to the audience just to make you feel powerful. The audience was dead silent, no claps, no laughter, just a growing, breathless realization that something irreversible was happening. Meghan slowly stood up too, her heels echoing on the studio floor. This was a mistake, Kelly nodded. Probably, but at least it was an honest one. Meghan glared at her, her eyes wet with tears that hadn't yet fallen. She turned sharply on her heel and walked off the set, not looking back. The camera stayed on Kelly. She took a deep breath, looked directly into the lens. "That was Meghan Markle, everyone," she said calmly. "Let's take a break." Cut to black, the studio lights dimmed for a brief moment before flaring back up. Meghan Markle was gone. Her abrupt exit still hung in the air like a smoke trail from a cannon blast. The audience, silent for a beat too long, finally broke into a confused stir, some clapping, others murmuring, many just stunned. Kelly Clarkson sat down slowly. Her face was composed, but her fingers drummed the side of her coffee mug like war drums settling after battle. No smugness, no triumph, just stillness. The producers rushed into action behind the scenes. The show had veered off script entirely, and the network phones were already buzzing. Social media, on fire. Clips of Meghan's walk-off were already trending with the hashtags like #KellyClapsBack, Markle Meltdown, and #DaytimeDramaQueen. Joy, Kelly's co-host, leaned in. "You okay?" Kelly looked at her, almost surprised she was still on air. "Yeah," she said softly. "I just wasn't expecting a PR storm before noon." Laughter rippled, genuine this time. But the weight wasn't lifted. In the dressing room hallway, Meghan was being ushered out swiftly by her assistant, sunglasses already covering her red eyes. "They ambushed you," her assistant whispered. "We'll get ahead of it." A statement, a post. But Meghan didn't answer. Her lips were tight. Not rage, not humiliation. Something deeper. She'd lost control of the narrative, and it had happened live. Back on set, the show resumed. But the tone had changed. Kelly turned to the camera. "Listen, folks, talk shows are messy, life is messy, but this platform, this table, isn't here to validate egos. It's here to ask real questions. Sometimes those questions sting." The crowd applauded, louder now. A standing ovation from a few rows. "Meghan Markle came here today with her story," Kelly continued, "and she has every right to it, but so do we, so do you. And if you walk into a conversation only willing to hear praise, you're not looking for truth, you're looking for a mirror." Twitter exploded. Pundits from every side dove in. Morning news replayed the footage on a loop. Royal commentators weighed in. Former guests were asked to respond. Was Kelly out of line? Was Meghan too fragile? Was the whole thing scripted? But one truth echoed clearly. The daytime landscape had shifted. Later that evening, Kelly posted a single message on her social media. "Honesty isn't cruelty. Silence isn't grace. We can be kind and call out the noise." KC. It racked up millions of likes within hours. Meghan's team, by contrast, released a brief, polished statement. "The Duchess of Sussex appreciates the opportunity to speak her truth. She will not be engaging further in unproductive discourse." But the damage, depending on which side you were on, was done or finally begun. Critics lauded Kelly Clarkson as the new voice of reason in a talk show world growing tired of manufactured empathy and rehearsed victimhood. Supporters of Meghan claimed she'd been baited, cornered, humiliated for ratings. But the undeniable truth, nobody would forget what happened that day, and neither woman would walk away unchanged.